in the Austin area. It is 10:30. We love to start on time, but we'll give everybody a couple more minutes to pop in. My name is Cindy Cummings, and I'm the organizer of this event. I'm a real estate agent, and I specialize in housing for those who are over 55 years old. And part of housing options when you're over 55 years old is to consider senior living communities. So we have 3 wonderful communities on our call today, and they're all very different, and it's going to be fun for you to learn their nuances and the things that make them be special. And we're super excited to have them here today. As I mentioned, my name is Cindy Cummings. I am a real estate agent, and I'm part of LT Senior Services. In your bags, your goodie bags, which we want to thank the people who are participating today. They gave us some great gifts for our goodie bags, is to talk about some upcoming events that we have. So our first one is we have monthly webinars, and the monthly webinars are through LT Senior Services. And if you haven't attended any of those before, we hope that you'll consider attending them in the near future. But our next one is coming up on August 10th. It is downsizing, right sizing, and simplifying. So that'll be a great webinar. It's on a Monday. In September, we have Dr. Pirtle from WellMed, and he'll be talking about things all medical. The next is October 12th. We're going to be talking about Medicare changes for 2021. And then November 9th, we have a webinar on discounts for seniors. So we're really excited about that. In addition, we've got an Aging Well Expo coming up, and y'all got all these flyers in there. The Aging Well Expo is going to be on October 1st from 8 to noon. And all of this is going to be held virtually. It's all held on Zoom, and we're so glad that you all are here today. We also had a directory that we put in your goodie bag. And here's the directory here. And this just talks about some of our members of the LT Senior Services. So we hope you enjoyed getting that too. So without further ado, I think we'll go ahead and talk about what our format is for today. What we're going to do is have each of the senior living communities have about 20 minutes to talk about the features of their property, what makes them different from other properties, and also just talk about some of the finances, the pricing and things like that. In addition, a whole bunch of you sent in questions, and they are awesome questions. After we're done with the independent tours of each of the different communities, we'll go ahead and ask the questions to the panelists too. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and start with you, Karen, if that's okay. So okay. Karen Crawford, let me just go ahead and introduce, actually we'll say hey to Tanner. Tanner's from the Triangle, and he's gonna go away from our screen while Karen talks, but we'll introduce you in a couple of minutes, Tanner.
Thank you.
But Karen is the Sales and Marketing Director, and she joined Brookdale in 2016. And she's from Overland Park, Kansas. She loves working in the senior industry, and she found it a privilege to walk with families at this time in their lives. She started work in hospice. For 4 years, she worked for home health and then found senior living. Coming to work each day at Brookdale Westlake is a joy for her, and each day is different and rewarding. She leaves work hoping that she made a difference in somebody's life. She graduated from the University of North Texas with a degree in advertising and marketing. When she's not working, she enjoys spending time with her daughters, her husband, watching football. Whoop, whoop. What's that going to be like with COVID?
I don't know.
Like, I don't know. We'll see. Gardening, exercising, and enjoying the beautiful weather that Austin often has. Well, Karen, we're so excited to have you here today to talk about Brookdale Westlake Hills. And without further ado, we'll just let you take over.
Okay, thanks so much for having me.
Sure.
So just Cindy gave all the background on me that I was going to give, so I don't have to do that. But Brookdale Westlake Hills is considered a CCRC, so it's a continuing care retirement community. We do offer independent living, assisted living, and skilled nursing and rehab. So we have that full continuum. The only thing we don't offer is memory care, but Brookdale has over 12 properties in the Austin area, and several of ours do offer memory care. But I like to remind people that memory care is really for a small majority of people that, or minority of people that might be wanderers or aggressive. People definitely live with dementia in all 3 levels of care at Brookdale Westlake Hills. I was gonna show you a video that will tour an apartment in independent living. And so let me pull that up. I'm not really good at the Zoom thing, so give me a minute to I guess I need to share my screen, then go. And I'm gonna mute this because I understand y'all don't get to hear it very loudly. So there I am introducing myself. And we're gonna go to one of our small 2-bedrooms in independent living. So you walk in, the kitchen's immediately to the left or to the right, depending on the floor plan. But as you can see, it's a full kitchen. You have a full-size fridge, you have a microwave, a stove, you have a mini dishwasher, we have granite countertops. So it's just, that's the standard at Brookdale Westlake. So if you want to still cook, you can, but meals are also included. And then the living room, you have a pass-through so you can look from the kitchen into your living room. And this is just showing you one of our models. This particular floor plan does not have a patio or a balcony, but we do have 2 floor plans that do. And the master bedroom, you can fit a king-size bed in any of our floor plans, including the smallest 1-bedroom. But this is a queen-size bed we're showing in here. And then we have really nice closets. In every 2-bedroom, there's 2 bathrooms. So here's the one off the master, has a walk-in shower. We're happy to install grab bars anywhere needed. And then we've got granite in the bathrooms. Behind that mirror is a medicine cabinet. And then we also have a check-in system. So what I'm pointing to is the check-in system. The light will start blinking at 6 in the morning and you have till 10 o'clock to push the button and turn it off. If you forget, we call you. And if you don't answer, we come physically check on you. And you can pull that, there's a pull cord for emergency help. And here's our pool. It's heated year round. We do water aerobics out here April through October. And this is just kind of the garden area. So this is what some of the apartments look out onto. And so I'm just talking about next steps here, but I'm gonna move, I noticed that some people wanted to look at the floor plans. So let me, let's see if I can do this. Let me go to another here.
Karen, while you're doing that, let me ask a couple questions.
Okay.
It's Cindy. So you are located just right in the heart of Austin, aren't you? I mean, you're just south of the city, right on main thoroughfare, right?
Yes, we are pretty much at, I like to say we're at Mopac and the Rolling Wood exit, but we're actually off of the frontage road off of Liberty Park. So we do have views of downtown. We are in the heart of the city, and our transportation department is included in your rent, and it will go within a 12-mile radius. So that's going to get you to almost everything you need to go to. And we have top-notch transportation 7 days a week.
It's easy for people to come visit you too, because they can just pop right off those main thoroughfares.
Absolutely, yes.
And then your community, you have independent, assisted, and memory care. Is that right?
No,
Those three?
independent, assisted, and skilled nursing.
So do you mind just taking a minute and talking about what independent is versus assisted versus nursing?
Absolutely.
Okay,
independent living is just that. You're in charge of your own life. You're in charge of your own health care, but there's help and security built in if you need it. Like I showed you the apartment, you have a regular apartment, but what's included in the apartment and your rent is the apartment with all utilities except for telephone and internet, but it's hardwired for that. We just let you decide if you want to add it, and you would call Spectrum as our carrier. It also includes housekeeping once a week. They clean the apartment and they will wash your bed linens and towels. You're responsible for your personal laundry, but it is included in that you have you just take your soap to the machine and do it. And it also includes 2 meals a day in the dining room when it's non-COVID time. Right now we're delivering meals. And the meals are breakfast is a given, and then you have your choice of lunch or dinner. But you can pick lunch one day or dinner the next. And if you cook in your apartment, then you have a credit that will roll over. So you could do another 3 meals another day. Or during non-COVID times, if you had a guest come in and you have credits, then they can eat off of one of your credits. And if somebody really doesn't want, the meals are just included, but if somebody really doesn't want meals, they want to do their own, we can talk about that and work out something.
Are the washer and dryer in the apartments, or are they in a common area?
They're in a common area. So we have a wing living room on each floor and on each side of the building. And so I take that back. The very largest 2-bedroom does have a laundry room in the apartment, but the rest of the apartments, the rest of the floor plans do not. We save that square footage and put it in the wing. This building was built 30 years ago, and I'm sure if we redid it today, we would definitely put the plumbing in to make laundry inside, because that seems to be something people do want nowadays. But another thing we do have, if you don't like to do laundry, we have our own caregivers in the building that you can hire to do things. Like you can hire them to do your laundry. You can hire them to remind you to take medicines. You can hire them to walk your dog, make you a sandwich, make sure you're safe while you shower. So it lets people age in place and independent living so much longer. Sometimes they never need to move to another level of care. Especially couples. Couples seem to age at different rates, and one might be more the caregiver for the other. This allows them also to get a break when they need it. And again, those caregivers in the building are employed by Brookdale. They're screened by Brookdale. They go through, drug checks, background checks. We vet everybody. If you did want to bring, I was going to say, if you did want to bring in your own private duty caregiver, you're allowed to do that, but we do want to be able to screen them as well.
And so pets, you can have pets, right?
Absolutely, we're pet friendly. We don't really have a limit either. We've had, as long as your pet's friendly, dogs, cats. There is a pet fee of $500. It's just a one-time fee. And there's lots of ways, lots of areas to walk your animals.
Excellent. Were you able to find the floor plans?
Pardon me?
Are you able to find your floor plans?
Yes, they're on this right here. So that was the front of the building. I'm going to scroll. Can you see this? Are you seeing this picture?
We can see my community.
Okay, so I need to maybe go back to.
Maybe scroll down, just maybe scroll.
I think, hold on, I think I need to exit out of that. What are you seeing now?
So at the top it says Brookdale Westlake Hills oneday.com video.
Okay, let me stop sharing.
Okay.
Go to something new. See, like I told you, I'm not very good at this.
Oh, you're doing great. We're all trying to learn Zoom. It's a whole new world.
Yes. Okay, let me try to share my screen now and go.
Okay.
Okay, I think this is what I needed to do. All right. Can you see?
Oh, beautiful. Awesome.
Okay, this is the front of the community. And this is, so when you enter the community, it's kind of quirky. We're built into a hillside, and you walk in on the 3rd floor. This is our 3rd floor living room. And if you were to look out that window, you would see a view of downtown. So that kind of shows you how we're just like 2 to 3 miles from downtown. I'm going to scroll through some of this. I hope we do have a library on the 1st floor. This is a little store that we have on the 2nd floor. We call it the country store, but you can get things in there like toothpaste, laundry detergent, even little gifts, greeting cards, and snacks from the dining room. So if you didn't want to go down to the dining room and get something, you can pop in here. I think we sell pizza slices on Monday and just different things throughout the week. So this is kind of showing you all the services and amenities that are included. I kind of went over that. So the apartment, all utilities, housekeeping, the meals, Transportation is included to and from doctor's appointments, as well as to and from anything that we go out to do on our calendar. And an example, during non-COVID time, we go to the grocery store every Tuesday, 3 different times. We take you down, we bring you back, and we deliver the groceries to your apartment. Right now, we're doing a lot of grocery shopping for a lot of our residents, just because some people are ordering through like Instacart and things like that, but those who can't, we're helping with. And here's the back of the community. So you can see we do have a hot tub and a pool. Here's another shot looking up toward the pool, but from the back of the garden. And now we're getting into floor plans. So we have 3 1-bedroom floor plans and 3 2-bedroom. We call them A, B, C, and then D, E, and F. So our smallest 1-bedroom floor plan is 650 square feet. The next size up is about 100 more square feet. The thing to note about the smallest one is it does not have a patio or balcony, and the next 2 sizes up do. But it's very spacious. People are always surprised when they walk into the 650 square feet they're like, this feels really spacious. So you have a good closet off the bedroom, and then you also have a closet right where it says storage. That's a front closet. And then you have a pantry, and you have a linen closet in the bathroom. So there's really good storage throughout it. And then if you look at the B floor plan, that one does have the patio or balcony. The kitchen's a little more of a square, as opposed to the A floor plan has a galley kitchen. And then I'm gonna go show you the largest 1-bedroom floor plan is this one. It's the C. And this one's right about 800 square feet. And you get this extra wide living area in this floor plan, which allows you kind of to set it up as 3 different areas. It's real spacious, and I really like this floor plan too. Moving into 2 bedrooms. 2-bedroom, so the D is the smallest 2-bedroom. And again, this one does not have a patio or balcony, but the other 2 do. You can see the dimensions are on there for you. And it shows that one side's a walk-in shower and the other side's a bathtub shower. And occasionally you will see that, but for the most part, we're turning all of our bathtubs into walk-in showers for safety reasons. But there is still the occasional bathtub shower that you'll find. Okay, the next size up is the E. And this is kind of like the C floor plan, but you get 2 bedrooms. So you get this extra wide living area. And this is about 1,100 square feet. The master, the bathroom, huge closet. And then the guest side has the bathroom is across the hall from it. And it's really spacious. And then you'll have the patio or balcony. And on this floor plan, you get even additional storage outside off of the balcony, which is really nice. And then the very largest is the F floor plan. That's this one. It's about 1,250 square feet. This is bigger than my first house. And this is the one that does have the laundry in it. So if you see through the kitchen, there's a laundry room. But then you have 2 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms. You have a set dining room in that one and a study. And then you have the patio or balcony. The thing about this floor plan is there's only 6 in the whole community, so it doesn't come open very often. So I do have a wait list on this floor plan. And then we get into, and this is our E floor plan. Let me show you, this is a picture so you can really see how spacious it is. There's a table behind that sofa, so like they made that the dining area, made the other side the living area, and the bedroom off there. Another view of the bedroom and the kitchen. This is one of our wing living rooms that the laundry room is kind of behind us here. So it's off of this common area, but people do hang out here, do puzzles, watch TV. We have happy hours down here. So lots of fun things happen in the living rooms. And then here's our dining room.
While you're there, Karen, will you just talk a little bit about your dining program? Is it restaurant style, the
Yes,
hours, and some of
thank
that?
you. It is. It's like a restaurant. You walk in. So breakfast is 7:30. I'm sorry, 7 to 9:30. Lunch is 11:30 to 1, and dinner is 4:45 to 6:30. And you just walk in whenever you're ready. You don't make a reservation. You don't have a card. Our hostess keeps track of who comes in, and you're served just like a restaurant. You have a waiter who waits on you. We're a non-tipping community, so when you're done, you just get up and go back to your apartment. You can take to-go leftovers to go, and you can even take your food to go also, and you can have your food delivered. We will deliver 3 meals for free each month in case you're not feeling well. And of course, right now during COVID, we're delivering all meals for free. But you can come down and pick up your meal and take it back to your apartment. Some of our residents are socially distancing and having meals together in those wing living rooms. So that's happening. And this is what we call the bistro. So this is where breakfast is served in here and picked up. We do have a juice machine and coffee back there, so you can pop in here. But it's also how you walk in to go to the dining room that we were just looking at. So they're connected. And we're getting into assisted living here. So assisted living is regulated and independent is not. So independent, we do not do an assessment. We fall under fair housing laws, but assisted living is regulated, and it does require a doctor's order. It requires an assessment, and it requires a current TB test. The floor plans over here, they're all studios. They're all between 300 and 400 square feet. And there's only one of them that has a kitchenette in it. The rest of them do not, because in assisted living, we're gonna provide all your utilities except for a telephone. We're gonna do your laundry for you. We're gonna clean your apartment every 3 days. We take the trash out daily. We're going to, I don't know if I said this, provide 3 meals and activities, transportation to doctors, and it includes medication management. Now there are extra charges for things that we call care charges, things like bathing, dressing, toileting. If somebody needs that kind of help, then there's a monthly care charge for that. Our care charges do cap out at $1,800 a month. So if you were to assess for, let's say, $3,000 worth of charges, the most you're going to pay is $1,800. But the medication management is included in your rent. So we have the suite 1, 2. Here's suite 3, 4. Some of them, a couple of the floor plans do have patios. And then 5, 6 are the 2 larger.
Karen, if you are a couple, can you stay in one of the assisted living together? Can 2 people habitate one?
Yes, we do have 1 couple in our assisted living, but it is quite a small space. Oftentimes, like I said, couples age at different rates, and one might stay over in independent while the other is in assisted, and they can come over and see each other, have meals together, but then the independent one goes back and they can sleep in their own bed and let us be the caregiver. But I would say a lot of people stay together in independent living and add the services on over there because we have those caregivers. But it is.
You'd stay in the independent apartment and you'd have additional caregiving be brought into that apartment. So the person, the additional care can stay in independent living.
Yes.
Okay, great.
Yeah. Okay, so those are the floor plans. Let me get to pricing. I think I have to go out. Stop share.
Karen, do y'all have garages?
We have covered parking. We don't have garages. Our covered parking is kind of covers 3 sides. If you bring a car into independent living, the we provide you an uncovered spot at no charge. We paint your name on it. It's your spot. But the covered parking is $75 a month, and it is your spot with your name painted on it.
Okay. And then one other question is, are the patios closed in the assisted living area?
In the assisted living, no, they're not enclosed. They do have a roof over them, but they're open. And you have like a little half, I call it like a half fence. It's low to the ground, so you can still see over it if you want to sit out there and enjoy. And you have a little gate to go out. Because we are pet friendly in assisted living too. So the floor plans in independent living range, the smallest one starts at $49.25. Pricing does depend on location in the community. So the closer into the middle of the community is the apartments further down are less expensive, and the apartments in the middle are a little more. And I'm losing my train of thought here, sorry. Oh, everything you'll go to in the community is kind of off of the main elevator, which is in the middle of the community. So it's more desirable for people to live in the middle because it's closer to things.
Location, location, location. What are you going to do?
Yes.
So what's the most expensive apartment? And maybe it's leased right now. You told us
Can
the least.
you see the pricing?
Nope, we don't see the pricing. You can
Okay.
you can just tell us. I mean, just give
Okay,
us a range.
So the smallest 2-bedroom starts at $59.75, and the largest one is $71.75. There is a one-time community fee. So we are a rental property. We're not a buy-in. You just pay the one-time community fee, which is equal to 1 month's rent. So it just depends on what your rent is, what that would be. Once you pay that, though, if you ever need to move to a different level of care or even a different Brookdale, you'll never pay another one again, and your leases will transfer. If you move into independent living, your lease has a 60-day move-out notice, and assisted living has a 30-day move-out notice. But if you're staying in the Brookdale family, moving to a different level of care, you don't have to worry about giving us notice.
How about companion fee? How much is it for somebody who might be living with you in the apartment?
Yes, so in assisted living, in independent living, the second person fee is $650 a month. And in assisted living, the second person fee is $1,500 a month.
Okay. And then just tell us, we've got just a minute or two here. Tell us a little bit about the activities. What are free and what are extra?
Let's see, pretty much everything is included activity-wise. We do exercise classes. We have, so we have physical events, we have social events, we have spiritual events, we have intellectual events, and we have purposeful and events. So the only thing you might pay extra for is if like we go out to sometimes we'll do little day trips. So if we're going out to do a day trip, you might pay if we're going to a museum for the museum fee. But the actual transportation we're going to cover. And I mean, I can't think of something that we really charge for off the top of my head. So
in normal non-COVID, let's just say non-COVID time, how many different activities would you have in the community in a day that people could choose to participate in or not?
In non-COVID times in independent living, we probably have 8 to 9 things happening throughout the day.
Wow. Okay.
Assisted living probably has 4 to 5.
Okay.
During COVID times, in independent living, we're doing about 3 to 5 activities a day. We are still doing exercise classes that are socially distant with small groups. We are having happy hours down the halls. We're getting real creative. We've been going to different countries, and our dining department is chef prepared. So the food's fantastic. They make up cute different things from different countries, and we have a different drink. So our activity directors are fantastic. They really keep the fun. We bring in guest lectures. So there's just a little something for everybody.
And I think in the bag, and everybody should have received a bag on their doorstep. If you haven't gone and looked at your doorstep, go look on your doorstep. But you had a packet of information in there, and I think you had a calendar of events. Is that right? I think you might have.
I hope so. I
Yeah, I
didn't
think
put
you
those
did.
together, so I didn't check it out, but I believe they did.
Yeah, so you can check in there
Be
too.
happy to send you one. And you can also access it on the Brookdale website if you
Oh,
in and put in our zip code 78746, and you can look at any of the Brookdales and see their floor plans and see the activity calendar as well as the menu.
okay. Well, I know that we're going to have a time for question and answer towards the very end, where we'll have all of our panelists go ahead and talk. But for now, Karen, we're going to have you, your screen go off, and we're going to mute you, and we're going to bring in the next speaker. Is Catherine available, Natalie?
No, so let's move to Tanner.
Okay, great. So bye, Karen. We'll see you in a little bit. And Tanner, we're going to have you come on the screen. I'm going to go ahead and introduce Tanner while he's joining us. Tanner is the Director of Sales and Marketing for the Village at the Triangle. And he has an extensive background in the senior living industry with over 8 years of experience in multiple living options. Tanner noticed right away the opportunity and privilege to make an incredible difference in the lives of seniors and has never looked back. Tanner joined the Village at the Triangle in August of 2017. We learned this morning he was the first employee, so that's quite an honor. He is excited to introduce Central Austin to all that is this amazing community has to offer seniors. So we're so excited to learn more about your community, Tanner. And why don't you just start off by telling us, I think you're independent, assisted, and memory, is that right? Or what are the 3 levels of care that you have? And you are muted, so go ahead and unmute. We're all getting to know. I hear you.
My screen shared and everything at the same time. So thank you all so much for having me. I'm excited to be here and share a little bit more about the Village at the Triangle. Cindy, you're correct. It is independent living, assisted living, and memory care. And also thank you for sharing that I was the first person hired here back in August of 2017. I was brought on a full year before the community opened. We actually opened our doors for our independent living in 2018. And then shortly after, our assisted living opened in December of 2018. And then our memory care opened in January of 2019. So I, as Cindy said, am Tanner Easley. I'm the Director of Sales and Marketing here. You might also get to communicate with Jenny Brown. She's our Director of Business Development. And really the 2 of us are the ones here on site with the task of showing off our beautiful community and really telling the greater Austin and beyond area about what we offer. It's been such an honor. I was as Cindy said, the first person hired here. So it's been really fun to see something completely on paper and just someone's imagination come to real life, and then to have residents fill the building and to see it really come to fruition in the very end. Jenny Brown was the second person hired here, and so together we've worked, tirelessly to do presentations much like this to tell people about our community before our doors opened, and then to eventually welcome them through the doors, and then to have now a community full of residents. So I always like to encourage that this is really just a brief overview of what we provide here. Obviously, there will be individual questions for each person because each person has individual needs. So I do highly encourage you to reach out. We can talk about specific questions you might have about our community and really give you a personalized view of what it might look like to live here at the Village at the Triangle. But I wanted to hit a few things that I feel like are really part of the benefits of living here. One is our convenient location. We are located right here in the heart of Central Austin. My next slide will show a map so that you'll get a better understanding of where that location is. We're close to medical. A lot of our residents utilize Seton, Maine, St. David's, Maine, which is really just a few short blocks away. We're at 45th Street and Lamar and Guadalupe, and most of the medical that they are needing is just at 38th Street. So just a real short distance to get to those doctors and physicians. We're also about 3 miles from downtown Austin. We have quite a large resident population that are involved in several programs at UT, which it's important for them to be able to get there and get there quickly. We also provide transportation for several events out to at UT, like UT Lamp, UT Nova. There's a lot of great programs that our residents love to be a part of. We also have a walking loop around the community, very easy access. You can head right out the back of the community, get on the walking trail, go through the triangle. I think one loop around the triangle is 1 mile. And while you're out, you can grab a cup of coffee, maybe pick up some groceries at Natural Grocer, or maybe even have some breakfast at one of the local restaurants right here within the heart of the triangle. And then just like Karen shared, we as well are a rental community. I always like to mention that we don't have a large buy-in upfront fee like some of the more continuous care communities do here in Austin, but instead we do require a one-time community fee that is equal to 1 month's rent. So no large upfront fee that you have to pay. Here's that map that I was promised that I would share. So you can see that 45th runs south of our community. We do have a beautiful pond area in the back of our community, which I think you saw a view of that from the last photo. And then Lamar and Guadalupe, Lamar runs to the west of the community and Guadalupe runs to the east. And then they convene at the top of the triangle to create the triangle. We also have access to a lot of great restaurants, as you can see on the map, a little bit of things like Hop Dottie Burger Bars within walking distance, Merit Coffee, a great coffee shop. I've been promising a coffee shop, was on its way for many years, and so it's exciting to see that finally arrive. And then a lot of good restaurants as well that you can order from or go out and enjoy as well. We do provide transportation within a 10-mile radius of our community. We provide both scheduled transportation, which would include any trip that we take together as a group, which would include grocery, things like the symphony, opera, or even those day trips out. And then we also do provide personal transportation. Personal transportation would be something maybe going to the airport, going to a hairstylist that you have gone to for the last 10 years. So some good offerings when it comes to transportation. We also provide secure garage parking. It is a covered parking garage that is located underneath our community. So it's very easy to access. You can park your car and then go directly up to your apartment. And it just makes it very easy, especially if you're coming home from a long day. You know that it's covered, it's safe, it's secure, and you can easily access your apartment. Now we also, because we are in the city center, realize that parking in Austin can sometimes not be very fun. So something that we've done to help out with that is provide complimentary valet. So if you have you're coming home from the grocery store, you'd like some assistance getting groceries out of your car, we can do that and then park your car for you. Also, if you have family or friends visiting, they can utilize the complimentary valet as well to make it just as easy as possible for them to get in the door and enjoy their time here at the Triangle. Some of the services that we provide are weekly housekeeping. We have some fantastic concierge services that can help with scheduling transportation, making copies, coordinating dry cleaning, etc. We also have a large amount of medical providers on site that can really help with all things, including occupational therapy, physical therapy. We have a nurse practitioner here Monday through Friday, almost like a concierge doctor that you could schedule with and have come to your apartment directly if you're not feeling well. Another great positive is our maintenance-free living. If anything were to not work properly or there was a maintenance emergency in your apartment, it's just a simple phone call to the front desk to get one of our maintenance team members quickly up to address the problem. Then we also do supply salon services on site. a beauty shop and barber shop, and we do provide nail service as well. Now we're diving into the amenities of our community. We do offer quite a few different amenities, so the next few slides are going to be all about those things. One of the things that you'll see in the upper right-hand corner is our art studio. Our art studio, we do things like art classes. We have a really fantastic watercolor class, pottery class, and which is kilned over at the Cafe Monet here in the Triangle. And then also we do our IT classes and bridge groups all in the art studio. On the bottom right hand of the screen, you'll see our theater. We typically show a matinee movie and then also an evening movie every day, so you can see what movies are being shown and come down and enjoy. And then in the upper left-hand corner, you'll see what we call the Commons. The Commons is our large gathering space where we would do musical performances, guest speakers, any kind of presentations. We've had the Austin Police Department here to talk about different aspects of their department. So a lot of different summer series that residents can come down and enjoy. Now you might be asking, how has this changed in the age of COVID-19? We still are utilizing these spaces. We are using social distancing, and then a lot of our programming has gone virtual. Our art classes, while they still do meet in the art studio, are taught by an instructor on screen. And then we do utilize our internal TV channel for movies, so that if residents are uncomfortable being in a space like this, they can quickly watch the movie being shown directly in their own apartment in the safety of their own apartment. We also do have a pool. It is an indoor heated saltwater pool. We offer aquatic classes 6 days of the week, and they're very highly attended. We have limited offerings now in how many people can attend. We try to limit it to 2 people in the pool, and our aquatic classes are very popular. It's a great low impact event, so that if you are having any kind of joint pain or tired muscles, it's a great thing to jump into and enjoy quickly, and it'll get those muscles going back strong. One of my most favorite aspects of our community is our Sky Lounge. You can see out the window there, if you can peep out, some beautiful views of downtown Austin. This is a south-facing direction, so you can see some of the views from our community. Our Sky Lounge is a great place to come up and get a glass of wine in the evenings if you would like. A great place for things like our book club to meet. We've had quite a few residents host their friends and families in this space. And then we do a regular, almost a daily social hour where we do have an attendant available where you could order a glass of wine or have a cocktail before coming down for dinner. Another aspect of our community are all of the beautiful outdoor terraces that we have. What you're seeing on the screen is our outdoor garden terrace. We have our bocce group that meets out here. You're seeing our outdoor fireplace. We've used it during COVID-19 for live music, and residents can come out onto their balcony and enjoy that music from their comfort of their own apartment. And then another thing is our terraces lead directly out to the Triangle. Obviously, they're secure and safe, but they lead directly out to grocery and restaurants. Our dining, we have quite a few different restaurant options here at the Village at the Triangle. What you're seeing on the screen is our Waterside Grill. It is restaurant-style dining for independent living. We do provide 3 meals per day. Included, though, in your monthly rent is breakfast each morning and then your choice of one other meal. In the age of COVID-19, once again, we are allowing limited social distance dining in our restaurant. And then also, free of charge, if you feel uncomfortable for any reason, we will have that same meal delivered directly to your door for room service. Another option we provide is our Trios Cafe. Our Trios Cafe is more of that lighter fare. You can stop in for a personal pizza, a sandwich. The sandwiches are my favorite. I eat them frequently, also a glass of wine or a beverage, and then go back out onto that garden terrace that I just showed you and enjoy or social distance within the Trios Cafe. The Park Restaurant is our assisted living restaurant, and it is also restaurant style dining. In the Park Restaurant, it's the same exact menu that you would see in the Waterside Grill, our independent living dining. The big difference is that we provide 3 meals per day instead of the 2 meals, and all of those are included in your monthly rent. Now I'm going to give you a brief overview of each different area, starting with independent living. Independent living, we have multiple floor plans, and I've tried to give you a range of the different floor plans on the screen. You can see that our 1-bedrooms range from about 660 square feet to 856. Our 2-bedrooms range from about 967 square feet to 1,295 square feet. And our rates in our independent living start at $46.50 all inclusive. All inclusive meaning that everything I've discussed so far is included except for that additional meal. It still is just that 1 meal for breakfast in the morning and 1 other meal of your choice that day. What we have found is most of our residents in independent living have requested us, please don't force us to come down and eat 3 meals per day. They want the flexibility to cook in their apartment or go out to eat with friends or have a nice warm meal if they would like to come down and partake. In independent living as well, we do supply washers and dryers in each apartment. Each apartment comes with its own balcony or terrace. We have quartz countertops. The flooring is a beautiful wood flooring that you can see on the picture here in front of you. The bathroom is a ceramic tile. And then our bedroom is a nice low pile carpet, so easy to walk on with no tripping hazards. Moving on to our assisted living. Our assisted living, we also have a variety of different apartments to choose from. Everything from a studio, which is our smallest option, ranges from about 333 square feet to 390 square feet. This is really almost best described as a hotel room type living situation where you have your bed, living space all together in one room, but you have your own private bathroom. Our 1-bedrooms are a little bit larger. They have, as you can see in the picture in front of you, a beautiful bedroom space, living room space. The one you're looking at in the picture is about 609 square feet, but they do go up as large as 812 square feet. And then our 2-bedrooms, we do have some beautiful 2-bedrooms as well, range from about 784 square feet to 854 square feet. And these all do start at about $5,070 per month. They do increase based on size and location. And then in our assisted living, much like Karen was describing, we would complete a personal assessment to get a full picture of the care needs that are required. And then based on those care needs, we would build out a specific service plan for each resident. Pricing can fluctuate based on the amount of help needed, but we also do cap out at $1,800 depending on the amount of help needed. And then our final neighborhood, final living option here at the Triangle is our memory care. Memory care at the community is one of my most favorite locations. It has both shared suites and private suites. Our private suites start at about $78.80 per month, and this is an all-inclusive price. We know that each day is a new day in memory care, and we want to be prepared for that. So we would still complete a health assessment, we would still complete a service plan, but we want to have the full scope of your care in one easy monthly rate. In our memory care, it's specialized programming for someone with memory loss. It is a safe and secure environment, meaning that we have strategically gone through and tried to make it as safe as possible for residents to explore, enjoy the space, while not putting themselves in harm's way. We also have a beautiful outdoor terrace. Our residents enjoy going out on walks, and then strategic routine programming each and every day to really make sure that we're connecting with residents on a personal level and really relating to them wherever they are at with their memory care journey. Our programming is designed to really hit several different recreational areas, whether that's spiritual, music therapy, or a physical one as well. All of our program directors in this area are rec therapists as well, so they're very much specialized in working with this demographic. Diving back into our programs and events, our Live Life Well programs and events are very near and dear to us. Our community also has about 8 to 10 different options to participate in every single day. You can find all of our calendar of events listed on our website. But really, we try to create programs and events that would speak to the residents here. That's one of the beautiful things about being a new community, is that when residents arrive, we poll them, we see what they're interested in, and then from that information, build out our calendar of events. So that could look different month to month. You know, some months we might have a garden party, which is the pictures that you're seeing here. Another month, it might be more day trips, day out programs, a lot of different options for residents, whether that be a physical program or event. We do a lot of fitness classes, or an artistic program or event, or a continuing education event as well. We were excited to host Lifetime Learning Institute back in the fall, or actually, I guess back 2 falls ago. I guess we're about to come into the fall. And really excited to have those groups meet here on site. Our residents could participate, and you could actually even gain college credit in those. And then finally, just wanted to direct you back to our website. Our website is a great resource. All of our floor plans, as you can see up here at the top of the screen, you can click floor plans, drill down a little bit, look at our 1-bedroom options. I would encourage you to go to our website and poke around and see what really interests you there. Also on that top bar, you can see that we have more photos on our website, a virtual tour where you can actually walk yourself through the community on your own. And if you have any questions, please do reach out to us. We've done a lot of specialized one-on-one virtual tours. We'd be happy to coordinate that with you as well. And then finally, just wanted to give you a look at the floor plans that we provide. And then I just wanted to say thank you to Cindy and Natalie for organizing this. I'm sad that we couldn't do this in person, where we could have you all come to our community, taste some of our delicious food, cuisine, and then do a personal tour. But in the age of COVID, you know, we adapt, and that is exactly what we're doing here at our community. Many of our residents have expressed how thankful they are that they are here at our community versus being at home trying to navigate this on their own. I was talking to Cindy before the call that I've had several families reach out to me and talk about the challenges of coordinating care in their home with the age of COVID. We are thankful that we are not really experiencing that challenge. We have a staff in place. We have resources in place so that if a resident has a need, we're able to quickly get that need filled. And there's support already here and available and built in. Things like helping with grocery shopping, helping with coordinating transportation, coordinating medical to come directly to you versus going to a doctor's office. Another thing that we've been very good at is telemedicine. We have the local IT department, myself, helping residents with telehealth appointments so that you don't feel nervous about that telehealth call. So definitely a lot of support built in here at the Triangle, and I recommend really looking into it. Just to give you a quick one more overview of just what's available here. In our independent living, currently we only have 1-bedroom apartments available. We do have an extensive 2-bedroom waiting list. So if a 2-bedroom is what you're thinking about for the future, I recommend reaching out. Let's talk about that timeline and get a plan in place. In our assisted living, we do have some availability, but it's very minimal. We have a few studios and a 1-bedroom. Just a few short months ago, we were full, and so it's interesting now that we do have some availability. And then our memory care is actually full at this time. So, you know, our availability does ebb and flow, but I think that's why it's so important. And I'm glad that you've joined us today to get a full picture of senior living and to get your own personal plan in place for the future. So thank you so much, Cindy. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. And I'm going to go ahead and start my video here. We do have some questions, but I think we'll wait until all of us are on at the same time, because the questions will also work for Karen. So, and I'm going to just try to get my video going here. Natalie, do we have Lakeline Oaks, or should I just do a little blurb about Lakeline Oaks? Have they come on the call?
They haven't come on, unfortunately.
Okay, they have not. So let me just give you a quick overview of Lakeline Oaks. They are an independent living community. They're in Cedar Park. They're very close to Lakeline Mall. And the other communities have other levels of care. Lakeline Oaks they specialize in independent living, and that's what they do. They have a really great food program that you can participate in. I don't have their pricing. If you got a bag of information, you got some information from Lakeline Oaks, along with some, we call this all our swag stuff. Thank you, Brookdale, for that. We got some really cool stuff. Thank you for all the stuff. Hey, one thing that I did figure out, this is a straw. If you were wondering about the one item from the village, this is actually a straw, so a metal straw, very cool, so you can put it in your drink. So again, Lakeline Oaks, they are a independent living, and you do not buy in, so it's a monthly rental, just like the other communities would be. They do have great social areas that you can gather in. It's a very upbeat, very positive, lots of activity, lots of fun things going on. They do not have a garage. They have outdoor parking. They do allow pets. Their costs will include everything except for your phone and internet. It's very similar to the other communities and what they offer. I'm not sure what their availability is right now on apartments, but and again, maybe they're going to hop on in just a little bit, but that gives you a very brief overview of Lakeline Oaks. So without further ado, Natalie, if you wouldn't mind bringing Karen and Tanner back in. We had some questions that were submitted ahead of time that we're going to answer. And in addition, we've got some new questions. So let me just go to the current questions that we have, and then we'll go to our others. This is a great question. This has to do with dogs, with pets, Tanner. So if you are a person who you know, doesn't want to have a barking dog is really the question. What do you do when you have a barking dog, and are those allowed, and do you have areas that non-pet owners live versus pet owners, or what would you do about a barking dog?
Great question. I always like to share that there's two people. There's people who love pets and have pets, and then there are residents who don't love pets as much. They, you know, and it's a village, so you have both people living here. We do have rules in place that residents are required to abide by when it comes to a pet. We are pet friendly in our independent living and assisted living. With our walking trails, we do have a lot of area for residents to get out with their pets. And then directly to the north of us is Triangle Park, where residents mostly take their dogs out to let them roam, play, go out for a dog walk if they'd like to. But to be completely honest, we have not had a lot of issues with barking dogs. Most of our dogs are well behaved, but if there were an issue, it's not something that you feel like you have to tackle alone. You would just simply call down to the front desk, and our executive director would handle with grace. And help really get that problem resolved. You know, maybe it's been something very simple to address the issue, but really we haven't had that issue very much here at our community. So, but yes.
How about you, Karen?
Similar to that, I have worked at this community for 4 years, and I've never had a complaint about a barking dog. One thing about our apartments is there's a firewall in between each apartment. And not only is that a great fire safety feature, but it's also a great noise reduction. So people have grand pianos in their apartments, and they have animals, and I've never heard a noise complaint.
Well, I think y'all interviewed.
Yeah,
you interview the pets, don't you? You want to meet the pet and interview the pet before they move in, just like the person who moves in, right?
Definitely. And we have, you know, certain breeds, certain weight limits that are required. So that's all part of our resident guide. if anyone doesn't adhere to the resident guide, then we'd have that conversation with them about their pet. So.
As you're aging in place in the apartment, if you find that it's hard for you to walk your dog, is that a service that you could pay extra money to have somebody come walk your dog or maybe clean
Of
out the cat
course.
litter box?
Yes.
Of
Great.
course. We
Okay.
even have mobile groomers that can come directly outside of the community so that you're not having to go out to a groomer. But yes, dog walking is available and mobile groomers. So it makes it just as easy as possible.
Shoot, I want to move in just for that.
For us, we have a mobile groomer come once a month, and you can pay our caregivers to walk your animal for you. And
Great,
you can
great.
schedule them as needed. So.
Let's talk a little bit about access and wheelchairs. We do have some people who have asked that question. So how is it accessing your property if you have a wheelchair?
I guess I'll go first. Because we are built into a hill, you have ground access on every floor except the 4th floor. There's stairwells all over, but you never have to use a stairwell. So there's a few people who have a little power chair, and as long as you're able to drive those things safely, that's allowed. So
How about in the kitchen in your apartment? If you're cooking, would it be okay for somebody with a wheelchair to cook in there?
Absolutely, yes.
Okay. So you've taken that into consideration in the construction and the way that they've designed the apartments.
Sure.
Yes, we are a newer community. We have a lot of really fantastic, easy access to the building. Our elevators everywhere so that residents in wheelchairs or any kind of scooter device are very easy, have access to really everything in the community. Even in our pool, we have a lift to get residents in and get them out safely. We have in every apartment, easy access showers. They can use the kitchen as well. In our independent living, we do have specific ADA apartments that are more handicap wheelchair accessible than our traditional independent living apartments. And then in our assisted living, they're all built out that direction so that it's a low, no lip shower getting in and out, lots of handheld grab bars built in, and then an easy access area for your legs to go under the sink to get into the kitchen sink and get into the bathroom sink as well. So it just makes it as easy as possible.
And you both have pools. Are your pools both outdoor pools?
Mine is an indoor heated pool. So no, mine is indoors.
And mine is outdoors.
And yours is out. And yours is heated, you said.
Okay. Yes, it's heated year round.
Okay, great.
People are really out there in December sometimes.
I bet they are. If the weather's
Our
nice
weather's
enough.
crazy, so.
So one of the questions was, do you allow pets in the village? And I think that we've answered that. This is a great question. So let's talk about how you pay for the community, how you pay your fees. It's independent living, assisted living, and in your case, care and nursing, and in your case, Tanner, it's memory. Tanner, for all of your community, it's going to be private pay. Is that right? Nothing would qualify for Medicaid.
Correct.
Or Medicare.
For independent living, it's private pay only. For assisted living and memory care, if you do have a long-term care policy, it could kick in and supplement your stay here with us. I see that question over there, and I think it's, does my traditional Medicare or supplemental insurance cover anything for assisted living and memory care? And the answer to that is it would continue to cover the things that it's covering now. So things like doctor visits, medications, anything that is a hospitalization. So that's what your Medicare and supplemental insurance will cover, but it does not cover your room, board, and care here at our long-term care community.
So if you have long-term care insurance, I've heard this be offered before, and let me know if both of you would do this. Would you look at somebody's plan and help them to determine what would be covered? Is that something?
Definitely.
Absolutely.
It's a normal part of our first meeting together is to talk about long-term care insurance, because some people don't even realize that it will come in and supplement their care. And it's something that's usually been paid on for many, many years. And so why not implement that and use that benefit that you've been paying for? So we definitely can walk through that together. Every policy is so different. So I always recommend really knowing it, calling, making sure that you know it in and out, and really thinking strategically when might be the best time to implement that policy or make a claim. But yes, we help with that. We also help with a monthly statement to your long-term care insurance provider. Usually, some communities make families do it. Some communities pay or make you pay to do that. We do not do that. We will do it free of charge to send out the required information to get that claim to continue and stay active.
And Karen, I'm assuming you're the same. Y'all would do the same thing.
Just pretty much ditto what he said. The long-term care usually pays out at assisted living and long-term nursing. I didn't really get a chance to talk much about our skilled nursing care, but we do offer short-term rehab as well as long-term in our community. So oftentimes if people have gone out to the hospital and they need to do a short-term rehab stay, they can come to the rehab, do it. And then as they transition back to their apartment, it's really nice because therapists can come back with them and make sure, their apartment's set up safely, or, they just can help get them acclimated. And Brookdale also has our own home health company. And so when somebody leaves rehab, home health will almost always be ordered, and the therapist can come and work with them in their apartment or take them up to our gym, whatever it is they need help with.
So they're going to stay in the building, but they might be in a different apartment during the time in which they're rehabbing.
Correct.
Who do you partner with, Tanner, for rehab if somebody needed that kind of help?
Most typically, we actually share almost a parking lot with them is Central Texas Rehab. It's right off of 45th and Triangle Avenue. And most typically that is where residents go unless they request somewhere else. But it's so nice because literally we can walk across the parking lot, get what they need, deliver something to them, and then it's just a quick ride through the parking lot to get back home once their rehab is over. So that's most typically where our residents go, although we've had residents go to Brookdale, Westlake, Brookdale, Spicewood Springs. Sometimes it's a choice of the family as well. So.
Okay. Now there's a VA benefit. Would that be applicable for your community? And do you have professionals that you work with on that?
There is a VA benefit. It's called Aid in Attendance. I recommend looking into that as well. I don't have a specific partnership that I work with. I do tell families and residents to be, leery out there, to really do their due diligence and homework while applying for Aid in Attendance. It's a great benefit for our veterans, and I think that it's very much needed and should be paid out. But honestly, I have not had a lot of people qualify and get the benefit for our community. In other communities, I've had it happen, but not always here.
Mm-hmm.
Ours is similar. Not a lot of people will qualify for it that live in my community, but we do partner with a group called Patriot Angels, and you can give them a call and they will help you through that process. So.
I was just having a thought about somebody else that you could call too, but yeah, so that's great. So don't think that you're automatically going to get that benefit. It is very much earned, but there's a lot of nuances. And what I've heard is don't try to do it on your own. Try to go to a professional. Oh, I know what I was going to say. The people who typically come to our webinars, they're our planners. So they're people who are looking out into the future. These are not people who, are going to maybe need to have this service today. But what I love about them is that they're planning. Well, you need to take all that into consideration.
Absolutely.
Meeting with somebody and looking over your long-term care insurance. Doing, like you said, a strategy, because the strategy could be that you have care come into your home so that you can start the ticker. I mean, there's a whole bunch to it if you want to work the system in the best way to take advantage of, like you said, the things that you've been paying for years. So one thing I always encourage people to do is to go tour communities now and then identify the community that you want to move to if indeed you decide to move or need to move. So tell us about tours right now. Tell us how you're helping people when they're saying, hey, I'm anticipating moving in 3 months. Can they tour? Can they move in? What's going on with all that?
You want to go, Tanner, or you want me to?
Go ahead.
Okay. Right now we're doing, there's a no visitor policy. We do virtual tours. So we can do it through something like Zoom or FaceTime, or I can send a video kind of like the one I showed at the beginning of a specific apartment they're looking at. When somebody is ready, we are moving people in, and when somebody is ready to pick out their apartment and sign their lease, they can come in and do that, and we will screen them. And when somebody does move in, we will need to get 2 negative COVID tests back before they can be free to roam about the community. We're calling it a nesting time instead of quarantine, because we're doing all kinds of things to help people while they're getting, moved in and getting settled. You're not alone. We're coming in, our therapists are stopping by, all our directors are coming in. We're bringing in a special meal for you and your family, and we're setting up a Zoom for y'all to enjoy that together. So we're doing all kinds of stuff. And how the COVID tests need to be 5 days apart. So if you're going to move in, we would love you to come by 5 days before you move in. Let us swab you. And then when you move in, we do your second test. And once we get that second negative back, then you are out of that nesting period. So that might only be a couple of days as opposed to 14.
So you actually do let them see the apartment before they sign on the bottom line?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, Tanner, how is yours different or the same?
Yeah, I would say it's very similar, honestly. We are starting with virtual tours. Gone are the days where you could do a walk-in tour, and I miss that. People just stop and find out more about your community. So we do start with a virtual tour. We might do something very similar to this, joining a Zoom call, talking about your specific needs, what you're looking for. And then from that, we can go directly to touring a specific apartment. Maybe it's sending several video tours of an apartment for you to look through which one might be the best fit. Once you've narrowed that down, then yes, you could come in and see the specific apartment at that time. You'd obviously be screened, going through our screening process. And then very much like what Karen shared, we are requiring 2 COVID tests within that 10 to 14 day period. As soon as we get that second negative back, then you can break that nesting time and get out of the community and really fully enjoy all that we have to offer. But it is for the safety of our residents. We've done a lot of testing on site for our own staff and residents, all which has been very easily accessible. Another real good positive about being in a community setting is that we do testing and make sure it's the most safest environment for our residents as possible.
So how about if somebody wanted to go visit their family someplace and then they were entering back into the community? What are some of the safeguards that you would follow upon their re-entry, I guess is what you'd say?
Upon their re-entry, we are asking, especially our independent residents, to be as safe as possible, obviously to wear a mask at all times, wash their hands. But as they come back into the community, we are asking everyone to, at this time, use one specific entrance. As they come in through the entrance, we are asking them quite a few questions on a questionnaire, and then taking their temperature as well, about symptoms, and then they are able to go on their way. So that is one of the protocols. Now, some residents, they're coming in and out frequently, and we're continuing that process every time they come in and out of the door. But it is a really good safeguard for our residents to make sure that we're consistently checking in, making sure that they're safe, no temperature is being shown, and that there's no one is exhibiting symptoms for COVID-19.
About you, Karen?
The same here. If you're gonna go off and go on a trip with your family and you return, we are gonna ask for those 2 negative COVID tests again, because you've been out, you've been exposed to possible exposure. But we are allowing for families to visit with their loved ones in our garden area. We have 4 tents set up out there. It's a socially distant visit. You must wear a mask. You must stay 6 feet apart. You can't, hand each other gifts or anything like that. We want you to bring to the front of the community, and we'll deliver it. We just really have been trying our hardest to keep our residents from being exposed, and so far we've been very successful in that. But the visiting is allowed in the back. So,
well, that's an interesting solution for it, to just add those. It probably like tents you would have at a wedding or something like that. You would just sit under. Tanner, do you have something similar to that? How are you helping people with this?
We have seating in the front of our community. The park right to the north of us is also a great place for residents to gather and meet. Definitely residents can come out the front door and meet with their family, but yeah, so they can't come in, but they can definitely come out and meet with them or go out with them.
So this is starting kind of an interesting thought in my mind, and that is the difference between the nursing and independent living. Because really a lot of the COVID cases that we've seen are with the nursing community as opposed to independent living. So wouldn't you, because I know some people are going and visiting people through a window, but that's not independent living. That's not the way your clients are living.
Now, our assisted living, we have a few more stricter policies. One of those policies is that instead of the limited social distancing in the dining room like we are doing for independent living, we are delivering all meals to assisted living. So that's one of the small things that we're doing differently. But yes, we're not, residents are still independent. They can come and go as they please. We just ask them to be as responsible as possible as they come and go.
Excellent.
Same with us. For assisted living, we do have glass door visits that our families can visit with their loved ones. Assisted and skilled nursing are both regulated, and the governor has mandated different orders, whereas independent living is that it is, it's not regulated. So.
Okay. So what is your average age of your residents in independent living, Tanner? Would you say your average and independent, not assisted?
It would be 80.
It's going to be 80. Okay, because it used to be 82. At least that was the statistics.
We have a pretty, I think, a younger population living with us. We are a 62 and above community, so a little bit different than your traditional 55 and above. So you do have to be 62 or above to live with us. And we do have a few 62-year-olds that live here with us. But then we also have a few 97, 98-year-olds. So it kind of, you know, you can see that we meet in the middle right there at 80. So, but I always say, you know, age is just a number. I have some 20-year-olds that are more active than 70-year-olds, and it's just who really cares about how old you are.
I was going to say the exact same thing. Age is just a number, because I know a lot of really young, vibrant, 90-something-year-olds and some really sick, unhealthy 70-year-olds. So it really is. And I would say our average is probably 82. I mean, it changes constantly, so I don't know exactly, but that would be my guess, is about 82.
Yeah, it's probably older for assisted living or for
Yes,
nursing,
for
but
sure.
we're just talking about the independent portion here.
Yeah.
So somebody was just making a comment on the gift bags, of which I've got, I've got my bandana. Thank you, Tanner. I've got my little mask here.
Love it.
Thank you for all that stuff. That was awesome.
Yes.
And people who are on the call right now, you might want to go look on your front doorstep because your lunch was delivered. So if you haven't gotten your lunch yet, go grab that off your front porch. But we've got some more questions. So this is kind of a tough question here. COVID stats. Give us your COVID stats. So tell us, are you COVID free? What the situation has been in your own community?
I'll go first. We are not COVID free. We have had some COVID cases. Primarily through some of our staff, which our staff were really definitely training them to, if they're exhibiting any symptoms, to stay at home. Thankfully, most of our staff, as they have not felt well, have removed themselves from the community quickly, and the spread has been mitigated and has not been very great. But we have had COVID cases. I think that almost any place or any person will somehow be touched by COVID before all of it is over and said and done with. So I think, it's not, I was of the mindset as we all got started on this, that we are COVID free, but I don't know if there will be such a thing as COVID free by the time it's all said and done. So instead, it's really, how are we handling it? How are we decreasing the risk? We are following all CDC guidelines and really making a safe environment for our residents. And how we're doing that is through testing, just constant testing, making sure that our staff and residents are safe. And if there is a positive test, then making sure that they're quarantined, cared for, and that's our policy. So.
And Karen?
Very similar. Right now, all our residents are COVID free. We have had some positive cases, and they've been sent out and they've recovered and came back. But we do have some, like Tanner said, some employees who have tested positive, but luckily by everybody wearing PPE, and they've removed themselves, they're home recovering, and they will have to have 2 negative tests before they come back. But one thing that's really kind of positive on the horizon is that because we have skilled nursing on site, we have gotten a rapid COVID testing machine, and
wow.
all skilled nursing facilities are getting that, and we just received ours. I don't know exactly how that's going to play out, but we are hoping that we're going to be able to rapidly test anybody who wants to come in the community and allow for visitors soon. But I don't know the specifics just yet. I'm hoping by maybe the end of the week to hear how that's going to play out. So that's exciting.
Super cool.
Yeah.
Well, guys, we have a poll up here right now, and if you were to read it, it says community contact. Would you like any of the communities to contact you with further information? And you can say all 3 communities, only Brookdale. Anyway, there's a whole plethora on here. And what we'll do is, if you'd like additional information, we're going to share your information with the communities, and then they'll just reach out to you directly. And so I'm just going to go ahead and do my poll. Other panelists, did you see it?
I did see it.
You can't see it.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
It said I couldn't vote, but I did see it.
Did you try to vote? You tried to figure it out. You know what's so funny about the COVID testing? I love your attitude about it. It's how you guys are handling it. I liken it kind of to termites. So I had a house that just went under contract last week, and they said, well, should we test for termites? And I said, you're either going to have termites now or in the future. I mean, it's just going to happen. I mean, basically, that's just part of living in the state of Texas, is there's a potential for termites. Same with COVID. I mean, there's the potential for COVID, but it's really about how your community is handling it and how you're making it safe for your residents and your employees. Wasn't there a change in employees where they have to sign some kind of document talking about the different places that they work? Am I mistaken on that?
We require that as part of our check-in for any kind of outside person coming in. Maybe they're providing things like they're a therapist. We're asking where they've been, what other communities they might have worked in. But yes, even with our own staff, we're doing that as well. So just really, some agencies out there have service providers that go to several different communities, and that is one of the ways that we're trying to, once again, decrease risk, is to know where they're going, which communities are kind of the hot spot ones, and then if there's any concern, declining their entry at that point.
Same with
Okay,
us.
Okay.
Oh, I was going to say, same with us. We are asking all that as we screen. The great thing about Brookdale is that we do have our own home health, so those therapists are just in our community. They don't, and we're not allowing anybody to cross work. So if somebody works in assisted living, they work there only. If somebody's an independent, they're only working there. Same thing with skilled nursing. So that's how we're trying to help mitigate any kind of exposure that gets crossed.
It's like a great solution. So we talked about the wheelchair, and that some of your showers are going to have a low threshold, so you can just roll in. Is that right? Mm-hmm. For both your communities?
Ours have a little bit of a lip to keep that water from coming out and making that a trip hazard. But if somebody does need assistance getting in, then that care is available for them to get, so to keep them safe.
How many meals a day must you sign up for? So do you have to have a meal plan, I guess, is one of the questions.
For our independent living, we do a points system. So it is included is breakfast and then one other meal each day. But I have residents who might go out of town for a week, come back, use those points elsewhere, maybe to get a beverage in the Trios Cafe. So it's really just more of a meal plan that you might have that you could spend however you want to in the community. So it's not requiring you to come in and eat 3 meals per day. You can really mix, match, choose whatever you want to. Now for assisted living and memory care, it is state requirement for 3 meals per day.
Okay.
So
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I said it's kind of a ditto here. You are not required to do any of your meals with us if you don't want to. It is included in your rent. And kind of like, yeah, we have credits is what we call them instead of points that you can roll over and use as you want to. They do reset every month, so you use it or lose the credits that you've earned throughout the month. But if somebody really doesn't want to do their meals, we're open to negotiating that. So
Can you use that points or the credits for family meals or for guest meals?
yes.
Okay, so you can kind of use it that way too.
Yes.
What is a percentage in the annual increase in your monthly costs? So do you assess yearly on an increase in your rent, and what percentage is it, or what is it based on?
We do it yearly, and sorry, Karen. And
Okay.
it's, I would say industry wide, it's usually anywhere between 3 to 5%. And we do align with that industry standard.
Same here. Our annual increase happens in January, and it does range between 3 to 5%. So last year ours was 3.5%.
Okay.
The year before, I think it was 5. I have no idea what it'll be this next year. I'm hoping nothing because of COVID. So we'll just have to see what happens. But you will get a letter in October letting you know what the increase will be for January.
Tell us about a gym, Karen. Do you have a gym?
We do. Our gym's open 24 hours a day for our residents to use. And often, like I said, therapists might take you up there and work with you, but you can go in. Right now, because of COVID, we're asking you to sign up for it so we can know who's in there, and we go in and sanitize in between each use.
We also have a gym. I would say it's pretty minimal in terms of equipment. There are a couple of machines to use, like a treadmill, recumbent bike, rowing machine. We have some free weights in there, but really our primary focus is group classes with an instructor. We have found it's that, you know, camaraderie of coming down together to a class. It's also the safety aspect of having a trainer there that is watching you exercise, making sure you're doing it correctly. And that is really our main focus. So we have instructors that teach everything from Tai Chi to yoga, dance classes, and they're very popular. Now, some of those have gone virtual. We're using our internal TV channel. We've delivered weights to everyone that wants them in their own apartment so that they can turn on their TV and just follow along in their own apartment.
Excellent. So this is a question, it's not something that somebody else asked, but I think it would be interesting to know. Of the people who live in your community, what percentage are couples? How many are single? Do you have any parent with a child? Do you have any sisters and brothers? You know, that kind of makeup.
I don't really, I would say maybe half and half couples. We do have quite a few couples. I don't know the exact percentage off the top of my head, but we do have a lot of couples that live here with us, which I think is telling that we have a 2-bedroom waiting list. Although to say not all of our 2 bedrooms have a couple living in them. We do have one situation where I have a couple in independent living and her parents, she has one parent in assisted living and one parent in memory care. So really they have one in every level of care, which is really, I think, a fun thing to think about. But really not a lot of brothers and sisters living or sisters and sisters living together or parent and child living together. It's primarily couples. So
we have quite a few couples as well, and we do have several sets of siblings that live in our community. They each live in their own apartment, but I can count probably 6 different sets of siblings in our community, which is kind of interesting. As far as parent and child, I don't think we do have any, but we have in the past. And I don't know, I guess that's.
What would the age of the child need to be if they were living with their parent?
We have a minimum age of 62 as well, as Tanner said. So
62.
What if you had married somebody younger? So if you had, you know, your husband or your wife or whatever, or 55, could they live with you?
Of course they could.
So different if you're married to somebody versus.
Yeah, and in independent living, we've had some people in their early to mid 50s that we've allowed an exception for them to move in because they had a circumstance that really they needed a higher level of care than they could get elsewhere. So
okay, so that 62 is not hard. That's not a hard rule.
No.
Okay, how about you Tanner?
We're open to the discussion, definitely. We'll talk about it and kind of look at the situation specifically, but we actually don't have anyone below 62 at this time.
Okay. Did I already ask, are cats allowed? Cats are allowed, of course.
Cats are allowed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. What is the cost for transportation?
Scheduled transportation is included. That's that 10-mile radius to places that are medical or scheduled. Our personal transportation, there is an additional charge for that. It's $1 per mile with a $10 minimum. So it's very affordable. It's our drivers, someone that you know and love, that is taking you to the location and dropping you off, but there is a minimal charge for personal transportation. So a trip that you're taking personally to a location and back.
Similarly here, our transportation is included at anything on our calendar that we go out to do, as well as to and from doctor's appointments. You can use the transportation for personal use. The first 3 miles are free. Every mile after that's just $1. And again, we go in a 12-mile radius. But I mean, and that's a little flexible. We could go a few miles here or there, just depending on what our schedule looks like.
What is the current percentage of occupancy?
We are 95% occupied.
And we're at, I think, 89 right now.
Okay. Do you have a library? You both do. They're lovely.
Mm-hmm.
We do. Ours is more of a reading room. We do have books that you can come and take out, but I wouldn't say it's your traditional library that you might see in some other communities. We call it a reading room.
Yeah. And in our library, we have 4 newspapers down there every morning, so people do come down there and read the paper. You can, of course, have the paper delivered to your apartment, but it's free in the library, and people, you find them down there reading all day long. I think we have 4 statesmen. I think we've started getting the New York Times and the Wall Street Journal too.
So I know one thing when I'm helping people move from their big home into a smaller environment, like a senior living community, sometimes we ask if they can donate their books. Do you take donations of books? It's really hard for people to give up their book collection.
Yeah.
We do take book donations depending on what they are. We'll definitely go through them and then help distribute to half price book or donate them if we don't have a use for them. But yes, we'll definitely do that.
And we have in the past, our library is pretty full. We only accept hardback donations, but again, yeah, it just depends on what the need is and if there's room.
So this is a great question, and I think you guys have explained it fairly well. You don't purchase your apartment, you're just doing a rental. So there's
Correct.
no large buy-in except for your first month's is typically what I would call your buy-in.
Correct.
So I think I've asked all the questions that are on the list. Let me see if I've got some other questions here in our.
I did see one in the chat, Cindy, about we're a non-smoking community or
Yes.
smoking, and we are a completely non-smoking. The whole community is a non-smoking community. If you are a smoker, we do ask for you to vacate the building to a designated smoking area that is a certain foot away. I think it's 15 to 30 feet away from the community. So absolutely no smoking.
Same with us. We are a non-smoking community. So
I think it's really hard to find a smoking community. There used to be 1 or 2, but I don't even know if those are still around. Okay. I think that's it. So if I don't see any other questions, then I'm just going to ask you all if you have one final comment you'd like to make for our audience, and then we'll call it a day.
I'll go. As I've said, is, each person, their scenario is so different. Their what they need and don't need is so different. So that's where I really recommend doing exactly what Cindy said and to reach out and investigate more so that you can find that perfect fit for a community. So definitely, we'd love to talk with you more and talk with you about your specific needs and what that future plan might look like for you.
Same here. So thank you so much for everybody who joined us today and took the time out to learn about our communities. And thank you, Cindy and Natalie, for asking us. It's been nice to get together this way, you know, in this world we're living in. It's kind of crazy, but yes, please reach out to us. We're here to help answer any questions you have, whether it's phone call, email, text message. That's my job, and I'm here to help you.
Excellent. Thank you
Thank you
both.
for
We
organizing.
appreciate. What's that?
Thank you for organizing.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. We really appreciate you guys coming on. You both have superior properties that I would absolutely consider if I was in the market for senior living at this time. So we appreciate you participating. We'll see you next time, guys. See you next week at our next seminar. Bye.
Thanks.
Bye.